So it starts with the basic part of any content creation platform that sometimes we like to overlook. And that is, who is that ideal avatar, that listener? Who do you really want to serve? Because if you dive into who that person is, what challenges they're facing on a day-to-day level, what keeps them up at night, how do you fit into their life as a solution, whether that's bringing experts on about, is it finances? Is it health? Do they just need a good laugh some days? Are you an entertainer? Whatever that may be, you need to understand who that person is. And then from there, when you look at your guests, what part of that guest story is going to help that listener? How do you marry the two together? Because there are so many ways. Adam, you and I could even be taking this conversation today. We could be talking about it so many different ways, but this is how you want to serve your audience. So this is why we're talking about monetizing and asking good questions. And I think, so that's really just where you have to start, is who are you talking to? And what does your guest have, whether it's experiences, advice, that can help solve problems or improve the lives or businesses of those who are listening? A lot of times I'll get people who will say, oh, you should have so-and-so on your podcast. And I say, oh, thanks. That's great. Why? What should I talk to them about? Tell me about them, so then I know how they can serve my audience. Because maybe they aren't going to be able to serve my audience now, but maybe they will be able to in a few years. And then after that, when I go through and make a list for a podcast, like when I'm about to reach out to a guest and say, I want you on my show to talk about this, I write my goal for the episode at the very top of the email or the page and say, here's how I want to serve this audience. And then I'll come up with a few questions below that. And usually those immediate questions are not the ones that I stick with. After each question, I ask myself, why? Once, twice, maybe 3 more times to really get down to a more specific question. And that just helps me really stay in alignment with the goal and serve my audience. And that's really what's helped me with asking better questions. And I guess some final advice for asking questions before, if you have any follow-up questions, would be, if you're having a guest on, go listen before you ask them to be on, before you send them questions. Go listen to other podcasts they've been on. Go read other newspaper articles or highlights that they've been featured on, and figure out how you can ask them questions that they haven't been asked before. Share a different side of their story if they're a very well-known person, because that's also going to make that podcast a lot more interesting if people feel like and understand that they're going to learn more from that person.